Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in the great Howard Jones of Light the Torch. How are you doing, man?
Doing okay. Can't complain.
Awesome. Love this new record. I am so jazzed for the band. This record, You Will Be the Death of Me, very ominous title, coming out on Nuclear Blast Records on June 25th. First of all, it's been a time in the world, and we've all been having a collective hard time. So first of all, I'm sorry for, you guys had planned to write this record and put this new record out, but tours are booked, people lost their livelihoods. I hope you're okay. I hope your family's okay. The band's respective everybody's. It's been a wreck.
Yeah, things have been different, and just try to take it in stride. How do you describe what's happened other than we lived through something strange, and well, we're on the other side of it, or at least we're starting to get on the other side of it.
Right on. And I am hopefully optimistic about shows. Looks like a lot of shows and festivals are just popping up. September looks insane. I think it's like 7 or 8, maybe even 9 festivals have been announced just for September, which is crazy, but they're happening.
Seems that way. I didn't know there was that many, but I guess there are.
Yeah, it's a Labor Day weekend, and then the 25th are particularly jam-packed with like just these insane bills. And Furnace Fest came back, and Not Fest, and all these things. I'm super pumped about it because I think it just gives people hope, and that's what we need right now. We need some kick-ass music and a lot of optimism. I know it's not like the most metal thing to say.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's been a very long time of staying cooped up. So I think people are pretty excited to get back out.
Right on, right on. And just right off the bat, man, I gotta say what has really grabbed me about this album more than anything, just obviously everything all together is excellent, but I love your singing on this. You're actually your melodies, your choice of notes. Like a lot of singers, as you know, are rock and pop singers are just very 3 notes and that's all they got, an octave and 1, 2, 3 up the scale and nothing. And you really all like a really fantastic job of really utilizing your voice as a tool on every track, which is phenomenal.
I appreciate it. And it's just kind of what the music called for us. I just try to do what sounded correct. And you try to push yourself a little bit. I always try to do that with every album, but hey, I'll take the compliment.
Yeah, man. I mean it. And yeah, it's just some really terrific stuff. And I don't even just mean choruses. I mean, I think some of your verses and some of the stuff you're doing here is very, adventurous and next level. And for a person, you've been in the game, 20, 25 years as a singer and a vocalist and front person, you don't have to evolve and change and keep trying to grow. You could stop and be like, this is good enough. I've sold a lot of records. I'm great.
I kind of enjoy the challenge of going in the studio and trying to make something that's not exactly the same as the last thing you made. It's part of the fun of it, and it's a lot of work, but just I get that obsessive brain, and I've got guys in a band here who just kind of like that, so it's really fun just exploring stuff and just giving it a whirl. So yeah, we're happy with how it turned out.
Right. You don't often get a band on an interview that's like, I hate this record and I wish we weren't promoting it. But, I know it's very cliche to say this is the best thing you've ever done, but I know this last few years has been kind of a rebirth for you guys as a band. And it does seem like a real shot in the arm type of thing for you guys, this record.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey to say the least. But yeah, I think evolving, for us, it's been a good thing. When we started this, we definitely wanted to make it a little different, and then once we did Revival, it's like we kind of had an idea of what we were, and we got to keep going. And plus, having Francesco as a songwriter, that will never hurt the situation because once he gets a vision for something, he's going to see it through. He's an amazing guy.
It really is. Actually, the last time I saw you, we interviewed Fran for Ghost Cult, and it was a lot of fun. That was St. Vitus a few years back at that crazy night. And
Yeah.
the relaunch, if you will. And yeah, he's killer. He's even just standing next to him and talking about guitar stuff is just like my mind is blown.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that's kind of a legitimate genius. He just kind of is.
I wouldn't be surprised someday if he just like bugs out and does like a Devin Townsend project, because like he could, he
Well,
can pull it off, right?
well, he does do a solo album.
Yep.
Does the Francesco Artusato project,
Mhm.
and yeah, and all the artwork he did that. It's just when he decides to figure something out, he does it. So it's fun to watch him.
Right on. And I'm also going to shout out Ryan for a second, because I think people don't really appreciate and talk enough about Ryan. Beside being kind of like a huge, piece to the puzzle here, I think just because you and Frank have such like a huge, name recognition and background, but Ryan is killer, dude. He brings a lot to the table. What is like the secret weapon in the arsenal that Ryan has that adds to the mix?
Yeah, Ryan should be singing in his own band, right? That's the secret. That guy's great. So yeah, it's awesome getting to use him, and plus, we're all as close as we are. So, it just makes it that much more enjoyable to pull this stuff off. So yeah, Ryan's awesome. It's I'm lucky to get to work with these guys, and I just know like the voice he has is going to fit certain things, and so it just works. It just works. I'm stoked.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I have tremendous respect for that dude, and I would love, yeah, let's prod him when the next tour cycle is over for you guys. Let's prod that guy to do his own band.
I've been saying that for a while, dude. He could very easily. He does different stuff on the side, but yeah, he really could. He's got a heck of a voice.
Awesome, awesome. You've always been a really great storyteller and always not afraid, even going back to Blood Has Been Shed, which I was a big fan of. You've never been afraid to talk very personally about stuff going on with you. So this record seems like a much more intensely personal record. At least I'm interpreting it that way. Some of the songs, I haven't read all the lyrics, but like Let Me Fall Apart and Wilting in the Light and Death of Me and Something Deep Inside, these are very threadbare and feeling in your feelings kind of tracks. So it seems like whatever you've gone through, you're coming through it with this music maybe. And what has this last couple of years been like for you as a songwriter and a storyteller?
This album was just kind of well, a lot of albums are sort of snapshots, just picture of that time frame, just how, even if it's not describing exactly how you're feeling, it's what you were a part of at that time. So, but for me, yeah, for me and Fran, just a lot of what we were going through in the band and outside the band, it came out in the music, it came out in the lyrics. So yeah, this one, there's some depth in here that I probably haven't plumbed before. So I don't know, man. It's kind of personal. There's definitely some spots in there where it's just like, yeah, it's from the gut.
Well, it's definitely very relatable. I could say as a guy, I'm getting older in my ways in my life, and I definitely was like, oh, I'm hearing a lot of my own stories here too. So that's always comforting and great, but not always a guarantee. I know a lot of people just like the music for riffs, dude, the riffs, and they want screaming and stuff. But like, I'm still a fan of great vocals and stories. That's what I like, lyrics and things.
Yeah, I think I do kind of write little stories, and yeah, we kind of went for some depth in this one, and honestly, just the music and the time it called for it, and so yeah, getting to tell some of this was pretty interesting. Is I don't know, I'd say there's a bit of desperation or something like that in there. It's just it's intense.
Even the album covers, it's not ominous, but it's definitely like, oh, this reminds me of something very, obviously it's got kind of a across on it, but without going too technical on that. But it is very, it's got the very like calming blue and then this interesting ornate image on it with "You will be the death of me." So it's like all these messages.
Yeah, the color scheme was pretty interesting. There's like I said, that's all Francesco's, but yeah, it's not like this was it's not like this is a black metal album gloom, but it's emotionally taxing. And yeah, it's like I don't know how else to make that sound. Like, yeah, this album's kind of emotional. So and I didn't realize that it would uh, be conveyed and actually show as much as it did. But yeah, it's getting picked up on, so that's interesting. But yeah, and the album artwork just really tied into a lot of the darkness we were feeling at that moment. So it just worked.
Again, it seems like you guys are, as well as you can be, as well as we all can be right now and today. Luckily we have these artistic abilities to get our feelings and our thoughts out and off our chest, because who knows what would happen if we couldn't get them out. But it's been a time, as I said again repeatedly, and it sounds like from what I was reading that you guys really strengthened your brotherhood as a band. So it obviously helps not just creatively but personally. You have to kind of like who you work with, you have to be on tour with people, but you guys really got very close during this last period of time, and I wondered how much that affected the music.
Yeah, it's been a pretty interesting journey, just getting to know these guys better and how close we've gotten over the years. It's just we've been through a lot. As anyone in the band, you go through a ton together, but the things that just got compounded with us, it really just kind of drew us together, and we genuinely like each other's company. So we yeah, we group text, we hang out, we do stuff, we spend time together when we're not on tour. It definitely helped, and especially because I'm pretty antisocial. So it, for me to kind of learn to let people in like this, it's been pretty cool. And I really wish I'd learned that a little sooner in my life, but here we are. And now it's like it's pretty cool because these guys are, yeah, they're family to me.
Nice. Interestingly enough, I feel like the whole shelter in place and the pandemic was like a boon to introverts, like natural introverts. Like obviously Howard Jones has, been on tour all over the world and meets people every day, but you're allowed to have your, be private as a person and keep to yourself and not, humans are a mess, man. Look at this little world around us lately. Like, we're a wreck. So,
Yeah.
I feel like introverts were the champions of this whole thing.
Yeah, I can definitely see where some of being that way can pay off. I'm it was definitely a good thing at times. So I definitely had a lot of people affected by COVID, and that sucked. But yeah, just being able to just continue working, and that was really where my head was, just like, all right, what do I do? What do I do with all this time? And then I figured out, oh, okay, I can work. The thing is, this album, all the stuff we went through, it really didn't have much to do with the pandemic. We kind of finished it right before everything shut down. Like we had kind of finished recording. I mean, we still had to do mixing and stuff like that, but we we finished recording, and then a couple of days later, we went on tour with August Burns Red and Killswitch, and then after 2 shows, it was done. And so then that was it. And so for me, it was like, okay, what do I do with all this time now? So kind of just got a feel for what was happening. And then I was able to start working. So that definitely helped. But the thing is, throughout all of that, Fran, Ryan, and I, we've been through so much. It's like the pandemic was just one other thing that we're going through. It just seems like that is what we that is what we experience. It's just a lot of strange events, and we'll just hang on to each other and have some fun and try and get through it. That's kind of the cool thing, is that we've learned how to turn all these crazy moments into a good time with each other.
Right on. I know people were, obviously, we were all crushed with the loss of shows and things. People were so hype on that August Burns Red tour, especially because it was going to be like the Torch and Killswitch also. Do you think we'll get these shows rebooked? Is that possible, or are we on to just other things now in the world?
No, I think that's the plan, is to still have that happen just a little bit in the future, since when Slipknot calls, you kind of come. So Killswitch is you can't turn down that tour. So yeah, we'll see if we can get this postponed and booked another time. That's, fingers crossed, that's what's gonna go down. But
Right on. It has to be pretty funny for a guy like you to have like a photo with you and Jesse break the whole internet a couple of years back.
Yeah, I end up finding out about that stuff like, third party. I literally found out about that. I was doing an interview. Someone says, "So, what do you think about it? What everyone's saying on the internet?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "I don't know. I don't have social media. I mean, like, my management takes care of one for me, but yeah, I'm not on it, so I miss stuff like that." But then when I found out, and then when people started hitting me up, like, "Oh, this is a thing."
Right on. Do you feel like and I only have a couple more for you, man. I want to be conscious of your time. I do you feel like personally, like, listen, the music speaks for itself. Like the Torch is a great band. Do you feel like the fans are a little unrelenting on your case about, like, why doesn't this band do Killswitch songs? Why don't you guys do an All Shall Perish song? Wage Slaves, like one of my favorite songs ever. And I know that, it's like, does it need to be a thing? Should it not be a thing? Can fans let this band stand on their own? And I wanted to see how you felt at all about that, if you have a feeling one way or another.
Nobody's asking me to do that stuff with like the Torch. I haven't heard that.
Okay. I would say that in circles of journos like myself, people are like, I wonder if will that happen?
And yeah, I haven't been asked that, and the answer would be no. That's not my band anymore. And
right on, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and they're doing a fantastic job. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
when they ask me to jump up there and do stuff, sure, I'll do it. But yeah, not my band.
Yeah, it's like when your parents get divorced, you get 2 Christmases and 2 birthdays. It's awesome.
Yeah, that was one of the things when when I just didn't feel like that would be appropriate for me, to do that stuff. The band's still active, so it just didn't make sense, And I'm doing other stuff, and it's just that takes away from what they're doing. So for me, like, and it takes away the focus of the songs from it. It's their songs.
Indeed, all good. And then nothing to, this band is awesome. You have getting now a whole nother album of songs to do live, and a whole, more to your repertoire. So you have, nothing to hold you back or, be tied to. But I was just wondering personally, it's a thing I have been asked by others of what I thought about it. So I thought I would ask you, since we got together here.
Yeah, but then again, who do I talk to? I don't talk to anybody. Nobody's saying anything to me. Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Oh yeah.
Just for a last thing, man, I hope it doesn't go over people's heads how great this Terrence Trent D'Arby cover is, man, because I'm a huge I'm old, so I love pop stuff from the 80s. And I love people don't remember how great that dude was. And that for a hot minute, he was like 21 Jump Street, Prince, Madonna, Michael Big for 5 minutes. And that song is unbelievably great. And you guys do a great job.
Usually that dude, I mean, he wrote and played almost everything on that song. And I think he was, what was he, like 20 when he wrote that song? Or when he wrote that whole album? He was next level. And just the fact that Fran knew of it, because Fran growing up in Italy, just some of the stuff that he heard, with like pop and rock and metal, and he didn't hear all the stuff that we would hear in the States. But I was at his place. I think he was making his wife and I dinner, and playing. There was a playlist of music, and that came on. like, man, I love this song. And I said, yeah, so do I. He's like, oh, I didn't know you knew it. I sure do. Yeah, I grew up on it. Yeah, once I heard it, yeah, just it was everywhere for a while. It's like, we should cover that. Like, really? You'd want to? Okay, we could give it a shot. And about a few days later, I had music for it. Like, that was quick. So there it is. That's pretty much how it happened. Listening to a playlist, I believe eating carbonara or something like that.
Nice. Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, it's such a panty dropper. It's just a sexy song, but it translates. It works for some reason. It works, but I think if you guys ever pull it off live, it's gonna be a thing where you got everybody doing the little after hours club dance. You know what I'm saying? The pole dance without the pole.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of a cool way to end the album, just because like it's just kind of a darker album, and it's kind of a lighter way to end it. It's like it's kind of unexpected.
Right on, man. I love it. And again, I really hope people hear it because, I know we live in a kind of streaming and singles kind of world, but I really hope people give it a chance and check it out because the original is awesome and you guys do it a lot of justice.
I appreciate it, but yeah, it is a bit of a singles world, but we do try and make the album listenable, from front to back. We really want it worth your time. So yeah, if people give it a shot, cool. If not, yeah, that's what happens at times.
I hear you. Well, it's all bangers to me. You Will Be the Death of Me is coming out on Nuclear Blast Records on June 25th. Howard Jones, awesome to hear that you're doing well and you're hanging in there. And I look forward to seeing you yell on stage in front of people very soon.
It looks like it's coming. So yeah, I'll probably be seeing you soon.